You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building.
Three members of the greatest R&B group of all time.
Wow.
Damn it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
But they are an R&B group themselves.
That is true, too.
BBD.
Biv DeVoe.
What's up, man?
What's up, fellas?
We're playing the slash game today. BBD / New Edition.
Right.
AKAs all around the building.
Is this movie that's on BET a cleansing of sorts?
Yeah, it's very therapeutic in a sense, man. We actually started the process about 10 years ago of just talking about doing it. We actually had a deal signed with, I believe it was Fox, and Bob didn't sign at that time. So we didn't
Bobby Brown, that is.
Bobby Brown didn't sign at the time. But 10 years later, here we are again, man, and with all 6 signatures on there, and this is it, man.
Now, is everything actual? There's nothing fabricated at all to the T, or is it a little fabrication?
Nah, man, let me tell you something. Honestly, dude, this movie, it's so real, right?
Yeah.
As you've seen, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, it's kind of why you only see 3 of us here today.
Wow.
I could imagine the opening
Why,
scene.
y'all open the wounds back up or something? Like y'all back mad at each other?
I'm not going to
for
lie.
old
Some people look kind of like D-heads when I was watching that. But I understand that you guys were young at that time and inexperienced in the business, too.
You mean dickheads, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think I meant?
You say dope heads, too?
No.
It's a continuous situation with our group, man. It morphs into so many different variations. At times there's 5 of us. At times there's 4, of course, you can see. At times there's 3, and then it breaks down into the individuals as well, man. But it's a never-ending, never-changing story. The movie takes place from 1978, which is the birth of New Edition, all the way up to about 2005 when we did the BET Awards. But we could actually do another part 2 from 2005 to 2017. That would probably be even more incredible than the first version.
And I'm sure there were a lot of things you had to even leave out of this because there's a lot of different sub-stories going on. But I think the most shocking thing to me was that you guys were still living in the projects and having #1 songs and going on tours and going overseas. Yeah. And that's crazy.
I can tell you I used to fight a lot, boy.
Man.
That opening scene, let me explain the opening scene to Charlamagne. That's all we're going to talk about. Right. Opening scene, Bobby Brown is performing. He's on stage for 2 hours? Okay. BBD is supposed to perform after, right? So now they only got 1 song left to do.
Which could be Poison, and they shut the whole house down.
They run up on stage and take the mic from him, basically, and just start singing.
Yeah.
Right? They start singing Poison. So now Poison's going on. Bobby Brown gets mad, tries to get the fire hose and tries to spray him. Yes. Runs on stage, and they start fighting on stage. Bobby Brown and his crew versus New Edition. Now, somebody pulls out a gun. Was that true?
Yeah. It got cocked up.
It got crazy.
Really?
What you mean it got cocked? It got cocked, but he didn't fire?
He couldn't pull it out, Charlamagne. He went for it, and it had got cocked. So that was the good thing. But the crazy thing, it was in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Really?
Right.
And the build-up it was Ronnie's Uncle Brooke. He was going through something. He had a real heart attack situation in
the
LA.
night before,
And Ron was just he was just
LA,
there, and he probably should finish his own story, really.
No. It was just madness, man. People know me for being the quiet cat, you know.
You ain't look quiet that day.
Yeah. And it takes a lot ultimately for me to get to a boiling point. So you look at 1980 when I first entered the group. I'm falling back, just trying to learn my way. Fast forward to 1996, 97 on the Home Again run. All of Bobby's antics and the different things that we had gone through as a group, man, and it just got to that point where now it's affecting my family.
Right.
My Uncle Brooke, the cat that gave us our name, New Edition, heart attack. Los Angeles, California, Bob didn't show up for the show. So, boom, we go to the next city, Las Vegas. It's crazy. Miss Jackson's in the dressing room trying to calm the situation down. Me and Mike, I don't even think we went on stage.
You wasn't there
Rick
yet.
is performing with my brother Rob, so it's actually Bell and DeVoe, but
Ron,
my brother Rob.
You wasn't there yet.
Exactly.
He didn't even show up.
Right.
It was crazy because Bob was trying to go on stage without Ron. So I'm like, get the F out of here. We ain't going on stage without Ron. You sound crazy. He was like, we going on stage. So me and him about to wild out, and Miss Jackson, his mother, and Whitney's in the dressing room.
Right.
And I'm like, ain't nobody going up on stage without Ron. So make a long story short, I didn't go.
Yeah.
Rick was like, fuck that, I got to get my money. So Rick does go on stage, and Ron's twin brother plays him and Biv DeVoe. The whole shit was crazy.
Yeah.
So when it got to the beginning of the movie, that was our first time seeing Ron since L.A.,
which was in the next city, Las Cruces, New Mexico. And it's crazy, my bus kind of broke down on the way to the show. Like, my thing was the confrontation. I wasn't even really worried about the show at that point. It's like, you know, at the point where we kicked Bob out the group initially, it felt like the same situation, like too many antics, son. Like, you causing us money and all of the above, man. And it got to the point where, boom, I get to the show, and it's about an hour late. You know, Castell had already did the New Edition part, and then we broke it down into the individual sections before we jumped back on again. And I come in the building, and Bob's doing the same shit, man. And it just got to that point where it's like, man, enough is enough. And it blasted off on stage, man. And that's a small inkling and, you know, eye into the fabric of New Edition, man, which is kind of crazy at times.
Now Ronnie, you was the last member to join before Johnny, right?
Yeah.
Which seems crazy because y'all seem so close, like y'all been down for each other forever.
Yeah, and these guys grew up together, you know, I mean, 70s, you know, all the way up to the time that the spark for New Edition came in 1978. And it was this thing in Boston, you know, talent shows. Everybody just wanted to, you know, hear the girl scream and just win this $10 or $25, whatever it was. So I jumped in after they won the big Hollywood talent night where they got the recording contract. This is 1980. They wanted to go from a 4-man band to a 5-man band. So I came in 80 in the fabric of New Edition as far as what we were able to build before 83, you know, when Candy Girl came out. I was able to mesh and, you know, join that chemistry. So
they
like
embraced
you said,
you
it just
pretty quickly.
Oh yeah. It was my uncle taught me a joint. It was one of the Jackson songs.
Your Uncle Brooke.
Yeah, my Uncle Brooke.
Who was the manager at the
Exactly.
time.
Gave us our name, New Edition. Taught me a joint. You know, I learned in about an hour and a half. Went to Bob's house the next day, and you know, performed it with the guys. And I don't even know if there was a vote or anything. It just seemed like I was in.
You know what happened was, what we didn't show in the movie was we had actually auditioned a few other guys before Ron, and they were just horrible.
Right.
So when Ron came in and he knew everything, he fell right in place. It was just refreshing. It was like, because I mean, in the very beginning, we always wanted to have 5.
Right.
We just couldn't find that 5th member, and we tried a guy named Frank, and you know, Travis.
Poor Frank. Poor Travis.
Yeah, exactly. And when Ron came in, it was just so refreshing to see someone that just got the feel and the style and that knew exactly, you know, what we was looking for.
Who was in the karate like that?
Ralph.
He was really into karate like that? Like,
yeah.
Yo, you got in the movie, he's doing karate off the mattresses.
By the way, by the time this airs, I'm going to be done seeing the movie.
Right.
Okay?
Now, let me ask you guys this about, so Ralph Tresvant, right? They had initially wanted him to be a solo artist, but you guys didn't know that they wanted him to be solo. When did he tell you? Like, when did you guys find out? You didn't even know he made a sacrifice like that.
You want to honestly, I didn't find out until we were actually writing the movie, until you told that story.
Really?
I didn't know that.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
I didn't.
They wanted to sign him solo, and he was like, "No, it's got to be all of us." That's loyalty.
Oh, this is before like Candy Girl.
Yeah, this
and
is
all
before
that?
Candy Girl. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we didn't know that. And to be honest, and everyone spoke to the writer individually. So it's a lot of shit we didn't know what was going on, and we didn't know how each other felt when it was problems. Like, I never knew Ralph's point of view. Because me and him, we go through it, you know, through the movie, or me and Bob. So you really didn't know what the next man was feeling until you saw the script.
Does it make you look back at things differently now, knowing that he could have done that and didn't?
I think it's interesting because I just want to ask Maurice, you know, did you really do it like that? You know, like, I saw Ralph's side of the story, but it only makes sense to me if Maurice could tell us that, you know,
really happened.
Yeah.
You don't believe him?
No, I just would want to know why would you meet us and separate us?
Right.
That's all I just want to know. Like, what were you thinking? Like, you didn't think Ricky could sing? Like, you didn't think Bob could sing? Like, we came to you with guys that could sing, and I know you wanted the Jackson 5, but we New Edition.
Right.
But everybody, even with the Jackson 5, you need a Michael, I guess.
Right, but when we started our first day recording with Maurice, right, and he said, okay, I think you guys could use another member. Right, which we agreed with because we always want to have 5. And he wanted to change our name. We didn't show that in the movie. He wanted to change our name from New Edition to Magic 5. And he wrote it on a piece of paper, right?
With a big
J and a big 5. So if you're looking at it, just basically say, you know what I'm saying, the whole J5 thing. Yeah. So that's why I never, why I was surprised to hear the story about Ralph.
And you know what's else interesting in the movie too? In the studio, Bobby was actually going in to sing the first song.
Yeah, the first song we recorded was Jealous.
Yeah, but because of him and Ricky and the fight and everything, he figured that Bob was going to be a problem. So that scene when it switches from Bob to Ralph, that was Maurice thinking he couldn't go recording the album like that with Bob. So he lost his spot because they had a little tussle behind the drummer set and whatever. And to us, that was just everyday action. That's what we do for fun.
But I think even as if you're brothers growing up, you fight
exactly
a lot. If family.
We spent a lot of time together. Mm-hmm. I mean, we would have pillow fights that would turn into real fights. Mm-hmm. I mean, we would just.
Now, that sounds like B2K.
Around,
yes.
I'm saying we spent so much time together that it got frustrating.
And then plus you have one person, that's like, okay, we got to get our money. They're not getting our money, and I'm surprised that. Having the opportunity to just leave your manager, cut all contact with him because you got ripped off so much that you guys were actually like, nah, let's just ride it out. To me, it's like, okay, let's go. But I guess the mentality wasn't.
Did Maurice get a say in the movie? Maurice stuff?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
They interviewed us. They interviewed Maurice. They interviewed Gerald Busby, of course. My Uncle Brooke Payne, everybody that had a pivotal part in New Edition's success, they interviewed to make sure this story was authentic and not just from our perspective.
Right.
Because we can be a little biased and we may fabricate a situation or what have you, but they making sure they're doing the truth check with everybody else around. So,
man, you said the realest shit this morning. When you said the R&B roots, I was smiling my ass off.
Yeah.
Because our first meeting, bro, 10 years ago, and it was Paramount Vantage, Rick.
Right.
Yeah.
When we was in their office, man, we just all looked at him and said, look, man, we just want our shit to feel like the R&B roots. Can we get 5 nights? And they was like, you guys, that's a bit stretch. So then when we signed the deal, it was only for 2 hours. And because Bob didn't sign, it was almost a blessing in disguise because we would have took all these years and had to condense it, to a couple of hours. So for the first time, we was happy he fucked up. We was like, yo, man, we can't thank you enough because that mess up 10 years ago led to 3 nights. And we think, like Ron said in the beginning, the 3 nights is covering a good amount, but there's so much more shit.
So Bobby had no input in the movie?
Oh, yeah.
He was going through a lot.
He was the last one that signed on, but
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was going through a lot with his own personal business.
Yeah.
And he came late to the table on this one, Charlamagne. And that was only because we didn't talk about when people was like, well, where's Bobby? He didn't sign. Bobby was trying to do his own movie. Mm-hmm. And he thought in doing our movie, they were trying to get the life rights to his movie. Mm-hmm. So he sat out for a minute. Right. And then he jumped in the 11th hour. And the thing is, he was on set coaching his man the whole time.
Right. That's interesting because Bobby do got a whole nother story because I read his book every little step.
Yeah.
So I'm sure y'all got y'all own little stories. You could probably do a movie on each and every one of y'all if you wanted to.
Right. Yeah,
now, did any of y'all have solo aspirations? Or y'all just knew y'all 3 was stronger together?
I think BBD was actually by default. As you see in the movie, we when Ralph at that time he decided he wanted to make a solo record. I mean, we were stumped, man. We were in a lot of fear because you got to remember at that time Ralph was that guy. When we go on stage, we would take turns introducing ourselves. He got the loudest screams every time. So for us, it was all about Ralph. And we came into this business as a group. So breaking off and solo like that just wasn't the furthest thing from our head at the time. When we did our last show at the Forum during the Heartbreak Tour, we were having this conversation with Jimmy Jam. And he was like, so what are you 3 gonna do? I mean, honestly, it wasn't BBD. We was just throwing out ideas. Well, maybe we'll manage or produce or do something, behind the camera. And he just calmly suggested, why don't you guys just be a group? And we're like, what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. He said, Rick, you sing. Ron and Mike, you guys are rap. And the light bulb went off from there. So it was really only because Johnny was doing his own thing and Ralph was making a solo.
You were the
record.
last 3 standing, basically.
Yeah, and Bobby was already a solo star too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, cool. Why not try it?
Now, this is a great look for BET, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys had other options. So why did you choose, let's do this with BET?
Well, Go ahead, Ron.
It's like the universe just kind of wrapped around in that way. Again, initially it was Paramount Vantage, and it was supposed to go to the big screen for 2 hours. And, fortunately, Bob didn't sign his life rights away as far as New Edition is concerned. And it kind of all started at the BET Awards in 2005, when the idea for this movie came about with the executive producer, Jesse Collins. So fast forward 8 years, we trying to plug and play with this thing and figure out how to make it happen. And it just so happened that Bob signed his life rights, and what was that, maybe 2013 or something like that. And they began to start talking to, different companies at that time, and BET was the right place. And when we look at the history of New Edition, from Video Soul and a lot of the stuff that allowed us to be seen, across America and even across the world initially, as far as the magnitude of success that we had was BET. They had a footprint on our success, so it was no better place, especially when they were talking about 3 nights. But we just felt like we could get deeper into our story.
This is going to be record-breaking for BET, by the way.
But the crazy part is they seem like they had the Jedi mind trick the best, because the only reason the movie happened is because we told all the shit we kept in. Right. So the way they approached us and getting the stories out of us actually was clever, because there's no way to write the script unless you get all of the information, and they came at us all and they sat with us individually, so they made everybody feel comfortable to open up. And that was the process that we all thought was a hard part. But the toughest part was when we went away for a resort, we went away to read the script. You were actually reading what the next man thought about you. And we locked ourselves in the room for 10 hours?
Yeah.
That was the most craziest shit ever, man. Cause you reading, you side-eyeing, and nigga like, yo, man, that's how you felt? Like, it was so deep.
Y'all have no mediator?
No, Brooke.
Yeah.
Brooke. We just had him, Charlie.
Right.
But the thing is, we've never ever sat in a room and went through anything like that ever in our life. To sit there and just look at the man and have him reading what he felt about you and how they're doing this story. And it was just interesting. You could hear a pin drop in the room, but we thugged it out for 10 hours, man. We actually felt like that was, besides creating the group, that had to been the second best day in our life. Because we
Who cried? Somebody cried.
I mean, I was, me and Ralph kept looking at each other because they had us going at it a lot. And I was like, God damn, Riz. He was like, I know, man. It was just like, we needed that, man. And that's why when she said, why BET, I don't think anybody else could have approached it unless they had black culture to know how to deal with us.
Did you guys feel like you did Brooke dirty? Looking back at things like...
Just like when we took the vote on Bob, it was like things were presented to us at the time, like either you have to make this decision or everything is going to be lost. Like it's all over. So it really, like even with Brooke, it kind of like wasn't our decision. It was just like, okay, cool, you can go this way or that way. If you stay over here, there's not going to be a situation for you, So like with Bob, it's like he's jeopardizing, your livelihood. So if you keep him in the group, everything's going to go down the drain.
How did y'all perform without taking the egos out? Because y'all made it a business. You guys didn't get along, which I got on stage a lot of times and didn't speak and
That's
sang.
incredible.
And nobody would know the difference. How did y'all do that?
Man, that's a great question right there.
Clearly by not talking about it. If y'all got around each other and had to talk for 10 hours, y'all just kind of...
it still goes on today. Like, there's no different.
Yeah, to the point, man, it's just the love for what we do and the love for those fans that we have out there, man, those NE for lifers that been rocking with us since day one. It just felt like there's no bigger problem, really, ultimately, for the nucleus of the group to stop us, from that energy that we get. Like when they say, ladies and gentlemen, New Edition, and we hear the roar of that crowd and that energy, it's like I'm not a drug addict, but it's like cracking your veins. You know what I'm saying? And the yearning for that is what allows us to be able to kind of sweep our problems under the rug or throw them in the closet for an hour or hour and a half and rock. And then when we get off stage, we right back to business and figuring out how we, just choking each other up. I mean, to the point where we would have fights. I remember one time me and Ralph got into it, and they didn't even really have this into the movie. We got into it because, you know, we used to play fight and all this stuff, you know, slap box and everything, right? And I don't even think I was feeling it just one day, right? But Riz is like, yo, boom, boom, boom. And he hit me, right, boom, and, you know, in the face, like, lightly, man. And I'm to the point that I almost felt like, you know, the little beef between me and Bob and on the Home Again, right? So we going at it, boom, 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 right? And then we end up having the food fight, right? Rick and Mike is trying to break the situation up.
Fruit is flying everywhere.
Right.
It was the fruit.
It was a fruit fight.
Yeah.
It was
then,
trays
it's
going
like boom,
this.
We, you know, a couple little blows, and then, you know, they're breaking it up, and you grabbing the first thing you can, water and fruit, and we throwing it at each other. And we get to the point where we crying, you know, and we say a prayer.
Dressing room.
It's in the dressing room.
Yeah,
It's like 20 minutes before 8 o'clock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, we say the prayer, everybody's crying.
I'm not gonna lie, this don't sound like Bobby, the only person who was on drugs in this group, man.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? Set that to the side and went up there and did one of our best shows. Now, I want to say that was the All for Love tour.
Yeah,
you know, Pat's
Adrenaline
house.
was going from
Yes,
the fight.
indeed.
Now, why is there still conflict now, though?
I mean, I think that it's just like a marriage or any relationship, whether it's brother, sister, mother, father. It's like there's conflict, but I don't think that we've come to the point where we have a healthy conflict resolution yet between all of us. But somehow the three of us seem to agree on a lot, and somehow it's like us three always end up like, you know, having each other's back or whatever, and we've just learned to deal with each other. But you know, I mean, there's egos, there's, you know, hangovers from, you know, unresolved situations. There's still some resentments going on, and
that's weird because every single one of y'all are legends. Like, there's no weak link in New Edition. Like,
Thank you,
everybody's a legend. Like, there's no need to have it either.
It's just a crazy cloud, man, and we pray about the cloud. Like, damn, you know, because it's so much more we want to do. But it's just sometimes hard to get 6 votes. Like, that's really the hardest thing, bro, to get everyone to just agree, because it seems like someone's always looking at it from a different perspective.
Right.
And it's easy. Yo, we're going to the award show. Can we do it? I don't know. I got to check my schedule.
right.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, let's take that off the schedule and let's go rock on TV so we could go back on tour and make more money. Like, there's an easy science to it.
So y'all don't practice then? There's no practice?
No, we practice.
Oh, y'all practice? Y'all get together?
We just sometimes it be 3 in practice, maybe 4.
Right.
You might get 5 for a half an hour. You might get 5 2 weeks before the show. Shit, the worst tour ever, my bro, it's some real shit. It's 96. This is Home Again. This is the big reunion. Remember when they put the word reunion by our name?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It started in 96 with the album.
I actually went to that show.
Angela, I ain't telling you no lie. We had a month and a half worth of rehearsal. Our first fucking practice was at the Worcester Arena on stage.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm talking about coming down with the fucking smoke bombs and the
Yeah,
lights and your
it was
cues
crazy.
and all that.
Yeah.
Our first show was a dress rehearsal in front of 20,000 people.
Sure was.
We didn't know what.
Y'all muscle memory should be crazy, though, with the routines.
Well, Bob conked out that night. I think he needed the oxygen. Something was going on with him. He was in the back. I was scared as hell. We got off stage and to try to have the dressing rooms on stage. I was sitting there with a tank on, so we didn't know. We found out he was going through something at the time. It was what would you call that tour, Rick?
This is the worst tour of my life.
Really?
In all 33 years, it was the most horrific experience I've ever had in the music business. Understand this, before we did that, leading up to that, all we did was practice.
Right.
Even before we put a record out, we came into this business to perform. That was our motivation. That was our inspiration. Get on stage, make the girls scream. That was it. Everything up until the Heartbreak tour, we would have full dress rehearsals. We would videotape them, watch them, critique it, pull stuff in and out or whatever, make adjustments. The Home Again tour, we didn't have one full rehearsal until the first night of the show. Bobby showed up maybe to 2 rehearsals. He didn't know any of the routines. So we had to base the whole show around to make it look like we were all on stage together as much as possible. So we're trying to make it look like, okay, we put this together, our fans are showing up, everyone's excited, but it's not like that.
But wait,
it was highly stressful.
It gets crazier. it's the end of the tour, and our main man tanks out on us. Ralph said, "Fuck it, I ain't doing no more shows." But Ralph would sit in the parking lot on his tour bus, and we would go do the show. So imagine a concert.
Yeah.
Imagine a concert without your man. So he was gone.
Yeah.
You know, we was gone.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny was on the bus by himself. He was gone. It was just like, one night we was in Detroit, man. We went on stage fucking 2.5 hours late, man. It's the first time we ever got booed.
Wow.
I'm talking about in our whole career, man.
That's
we ain't
crazy.
never been booed.
That's disrespectful.
Yo, but it's real.
But they were 2.5 hours
We
late.
was 2.5
Oh,
hours late.
okay.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
was
happens.
like, we was in the prayer like Ron said, bro, and we could just hear the crowd booing. And it was like, I don't even think it was 6 members that night, so they didn't even get everybody. But that's where that got to.
I ain't never see 6 members on stage. I done been a couple of them.
And you guys all had your own separate tour buses too, right?
Yeah, which was ridiculous.
That's a lot of money.
That's ego. Now that was ego.
That's a lot of money right there. Separate
That
tour
was
buses.
bullshit. That ain't ego, bro.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
It's like
It
a
was dumb,
a gift
man.
and a curse, you know, because you have the success of New Edition as a total entity, but then you have Bobby Brown jumps out and goes 10 plus, you know, and then of course Ralph with Sensitivity and Johnny with My. Biv DeVoe bust through the scene with Poison, right? So everybody has their own individual idea of success and what goes into that at that point, you know? And then everybody has their individual entourages and all of this. So now it's time for us to wrap back around and come together. And we're bringing all this baggage and all these entourages and all these ideas of how things are supposed to be done way away from what the foundation was, you know, that we learned initially, which is no man is greater than the next man, you know, initially with New Edition. Right, yeah, no man is greater than the next man, no man is greater than the whole. And with the individual success, which allows for us to have the depth that we have as New Edition, it was almost like a curse as well, because you can't really control a cat that can tell you, look, you know, when I did it my way, 5 million records, or when I did it my way, 10 million records. When I did it my way, 3 million records. So you can't really tell me, you know, what I need to do as far as rehearsal, or, you know, how I need to, you know, cook my books up or what have you, or what type of tour bus I need to have, and what type of suite I need to be in, and how we need to manage this money, you know, we getting ready to spend on this
Unless
tour.
you bring it back and say at the end of the day, we wouldn't have none of this without New Edition.
Exactly.
But let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
So we go out at 6.
Right.
And we make a little less than a penny, right?
Right.
That was what we came
Nothing.
with. Nothing.
The only
right?
the only money that I made on that tour was from the after parties that I promoted.
That's crazy.
That was it.
But let me ask you a question.
But it was Grey Poupon and Lobster while we was on the ride. Don't get me wrong. You know?
Let me ask you a question. So if you go to that meeting and he tell you ain't make no money,
right?
How come when you went back out the second time, we didn't just do it like that the first time? When you made money the second time.
We wanted to do it like that the first time, but again, you know, you got Bob that wants to do it a certain way, Johnny that wants to do it a certain way, and Ralph as well. So it's like we're forced into a situation. BBD could have went on our own tour bus, but then, you know, for some reason it's like, okay, if Bob's got his own,
we
and
all
Ralph's
need
got
our
his
own, because ain't nobody better than
we might
nobody.
as well spread this thing all the way apart.
Did y'all ever think Poison was gonna be the biggest record out of all the songs that was out?
Nah. We didn't know. We knew what we wanted to do. We knew the kind of music we wanted to do. We felt like we didn't have anything to lose, and it just organically came together. I mean, Ron spearheaded Poison. I mean, he had a vision from that, and but we had no idea when we heard the song. You know, when Dr. Freeze played us a song, we heard it and we was like, that's us. That was the first. I don't know. Was that the first song we did?
Nah, Hiram played that stuff.
Okay,
song.
right.
Yeah. He played.
But when we heard that style, we said, okay, that's the direction we want to go in. But never, we could have never planned. Like, look, 25 years later,
and still rocking.
This is gonna keep.
Right.
This is gonna still be feeding us right now.
I asked Mike this when he was here last time. Nobody in the studio thought that the line backstage, underage, adolescent. You know, a bit much.
What?
That's do me.
Buster. Did Buster write that?
Yeah, Buster wrote that.
Buster Rhymes wrote that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. We our question was, with everything that we came with, was like, why not, man? What do we got to lose?
And the thing is nobody realized it. As much as a monster as you say it is, would nobody play it.
Really?
Right.
Back then?
No.
Nah, radio was like
Poison?
Yeah, bro.
Wow.
Listen to me. We was being told by, who was that?
A.D.
right?
Washington.
He said, why the hell y'all want to put this record out? No one's going to play this shit.
Really?
He said, I can't get this record played. So back then, remember, hip-hop had to come on in New York on Fridays, Saturdays, right?
Nice.
Well, in Atlanta, on V, when we was putting it out, I think they sent it there because he had some relationship with the PD. They wouldn't play it until like late at night. And so we was like, well, damn, how they gonna hear our song? So you know what we did? We went on a basketball tour. We said,
went
fuck
to
it.
BET.
Yeah, we said, fuck it. Nobody
made a
want to
video,
play our
we went to
shit.
BET.
We took some cats from LA, got on the tour bus, and we told the radio stations, look, we want to play basketball games. Just play our stuff. So the way we got the record going is we went through, where we go, Birmingham.
Yeah.
We went through like 12 cities, and we was putting trophies. We was making it an event. And before you know it, we got the call to go to BET. And Ron sat in there with the director. We made the video. The video and the basketball tour spearheaded the record Poison.
Wow.
We had no choice but to go take it to the ground.
So
Never
does this mean
trust a
that
big butt in a smile. That was before Big Butts was even popping like that.
Right. Right.
So does this mean BBD movie coming too?
Hey, who knows?
Man, I think, when you look at a movie like Straight Outta Compton, right, and such a success, and you feel like you wanted more, you saw NWA as a collective, but it made you yearn to see Dr. Dre's movie and Aftermath after that, and what did Cube do after that? So I think
Even Michelle A.
exactly,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
We watched that just for that
Just
movie.
because,
She
right?
got some of that money, so I think this is definitely gonna open up the door for part 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we'll see.
I always wanted to know, why do you think the follow-up albums to Poison weren't as successful as Poison?
You know what? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, it's like music is like it's all about timing and where you are creatively, where you are personally in your life.
Yeah.
And no one can really predict that. It's just like, we made what we thought was hot at that time. We was really feeling ourselves. We was like, oh man, we so hot, we could do anything we want to do. And we was like, we wasn't trying to listen to anyone else. It's like no one could tell us what we needed to do because we had such success and we spearheaded our first record. So, we got this.
And we didn't tell the truth.
Right.
Charlamagne. The name of our album was Hootie Mac. That was our word for weed.
Right.
We was afraid.
Yeah.
We was afraid to tell people we smoke weed.
Right.
Because we thought people would have looked at us like we was trying to be somebody we wasn't. And then guess who came with the bag?
Chronic.
Right.
Y'all could have had the
After
Chronic
that.
before the
We was
Chronic.
The
fucking
Chronic
pissed.
before and the crazy
We
thing
was
about
pissed.
the second album was it was probably about a year and a half later than it came out a year and a half later than it should have, and that's because internally as a crew we weren't in the same space that we were when we conceptualized
Ron, you're
Poison
writing the
from-
movie. Just say how you
I'm
feel,
just
man.
saying, from the
We
gates,
was fucking not working on the same page.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly what it was. Initially, when Jimmy Jam and them said, "Yo, y'all should rock," it was like we lived and breathed, each other at that time. Like, yo, after we finished recording sessions 2, 3 in the morning, we would go back to the hotel, spark up, and
Write
we
the
stay
album.
up. Yeah, we stay up from 2, 3 in the morning all the way to 5:30. We stayed at the Embassy Suite, so we would stay up until that till that free breakfast came around. Just conceptualizing, coming up with ideas and video concepts and stage show ideas, and we had this major success as Poison with Poison across the world. And when it was time for us to go around that second time, Mike, was being pulled at the co-strings by Gerald Busby over there at Motown with Biv 10 and everything. So his mind and brain wasn't fully focused into the BBD situation. Me and Rick had a situation out in LA where we were doing this huge club called Club Mental. So we became, club promoters. So we were just all over the place, man. And there's no way that you can have real synergy in the situation when you're not, together as a collective.
So basically, that was our part of New Edition.
Yeah.
Right.
They was a little funky with me, and it was well understood, and it was my first time really getting to some money, and I'm thinking like, man, shit, I want to be like Teddy Riley. And we didn't even know how to deal with that. I think sometimes we had sessions we wasn't really talking. You know, and that's just not BBD.
Yeah.
You know, and then we were making records. And like I said, we was afraid to say, fuck it, we get high. This is our album, Hootie Mac. This is it. We was trying to be perfect and all that and just being ourselves. And like I said, when we saw The Chronic, we just felt like we played ourselves. Like we could have done whatever it was gonna do, but the next time you feel something, just be yourselves. Don't hide behind it because you can't promote something that's not who you are.
You already told the world you had underage girls backstage.
I know.
But you guys are probably used to that squeaky clean image from being kids.
Yeah.
And then people don't want to see you grow up, and you probably just are used to being trained as kids, you know?
Now, there's some songs that you guys don't do when y'all on tour. What songs are those? Y'all don't know Mr. Telephone Man?
Yeah, we did that.
I think I went to the show in New Orleans, and it was I don't remember one song that you didn't do, and it was like, well, they don't do this song sometimes when this person's not here, when Bobby's not here. Right. Or y'all perform every song.
I think when Bob, we probably didn't do Jealous Girl when he wasn't there.
And Home Again too, maybe? Home Again?
Home Again?
He talking about Essence.
Essence, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't do Jealous. This last Essence.
Right.
We didn't do Jealous Girl when Bob wasn't there.
Well, speaking of some of the kids, man, would you mind if we bring some of the cast in?
Not at all.
Cass is here?
Yeah, we got a few members of the NE cast.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah, because I got some questions.
I see mad people outside.
I seen this. I see Hakeem.
We walked up on them
Tell
yesterday.
them come in. Open the door.
Come.
I seen Luke James.
I see Hakeem.
Out there.
Hakeem
before.
plays
Yeah,
Michael
yeah.
Bivins.
The cast, DVD.
That was supposed to be you, bro.
I know that. Hold on. Let's talk about that.
What?
Now, for the past at least 12, 13 years, I've been telling people that I wanted to play Michael Bivins in a New Edition biopic.
You can't
I
dance.
remember people saying to me, they ain't making no any biopic. I said, you don't know the story of New Edition then.
You can't dance,
So,
you can't sing.
of course, I aged out of the role. But I don't understand how Hakeem ended up being Michael Bivins.
But you can't dance and you can't sing.
I could learn.
You can learn.
I could learn.
So now we have the cast and BBD in the building. Good job, Charlamagne.
Good.
What's up?
Gotta kill some time. Listen, the cast of New Edition and
BBD
BBD.
is here.
Now, who plays who? I know who plays Michael Bivins.
I play Ricky Bell.
I play Ronnie DeVoe.
Yeah.
I
Luke.
play Bobby Brown.
Luke, who do you play?
Come on.
You play Johnny Gill.
Yes. And right there, that's Ralph. That's LG Smith. He plays Ralph Tresvant.
Hold on, let me set up another mic for y'all.
having a computer.
He really has a good
I be prepping.
He got his
Now, how was it playing New Edition, guys? Somebody got to step to the mic.
And I just
Man,
want
it
to say
was
the
great.
casting was fantastic in this movie. I mean,
Robbie
when we
Reed.
first
Robbie
started
Reed.
watching
Shout
it.
out to Robbie Reed and
everybody, the whole cast.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great project. I just felt this being a part of something's history again. Playing somebody so respected, somebody that's accomplished a lot. You know, I felt it was important for me to play somebody like Michael Bivins.
Did you have to learn how to dance and learn how to sing and all that?
I mean, I already knew how to dance. I'm low-key the best dancer out of
Whoa, you're trash. You have to learn how to dance. First of all, I'm playing the most effortless dance.
Keep your trash too.
DeVoe.
Hold on, now, he ain't say that. But you gotta learn, you gotta listen. You gotta listen what he said.
Trash side.
E, you have to listen. He said effortless, not smoothest. Come on now.
Hold on. Wait.
Just a tad bit.
Hold on. It's never an interview without Woody. What do you got to say? What about dancing? What you gonna say?
I want to say these fellas was all trash, but they put in the work. They was humble. You know what I mean? They came in and worked every day, and they did their thing.
So who you think he playing? Who you think he playing?
Bobby Brown. Now, how did the casting go? Did they have to shadow y'all? Did they live with y'all?
Absolutely.
Man, we hung out as much as possible.
To the mic.
With Brooke Payne, we put them through a 30-day boot camp where they just, they had to learn when you watch the videos, everyone kind of thinks they know the routines,
Right.
but they're a lot more detailed than what you see in the
I ain't
video.
gonna lie, I thought I knew the routine when I was watching it this morning. I
y'all-
started to do that. I started with the slide. I know the routine.
This is intense.
I don't know, because it's literally, they would, the choreographer and producer of this movie, the legend Brooke Payne, he would be on us so bad. Like, the difference of 4 inches on your arm. And if you didn't know, you did it again and again and again. And the first choreography we learned was a medley of all the hits, like 12 minutes long.
Yeah.
So imagine doing that 9 hours a day, and then them coming in there doing it effortless and making you feel like dog.
Then the
crap.
kids is killing.
But
The kids is killing.
We gotta do it like this. So when we saw them, we gonna
To the mic,
give
to the
him his
mic.
props. When we saw him, you know, we knew what he was going, you know, wild out. But we gotta give it to you, Al. We felt like you had our boy down real nice.
Absolutely.
And so you slid into the most difficult spot.
Appreciate it.
And I know you want to chalk and shine, so go ahead, man. Say what you want to say, Al. Go ahead,
No.
man.
Hey, man, I just want to shout out God and my mama. I'm on a Breakfast Club. What?
Now, did anybody disagree with any casting? Was there anybody that got
I
casted?
didn't like the way they casted Bobby. No, I'm just playing.
Were you guys big fans?
I love everything. They wanted me to play Ralph at first.
They did.
They wanted me to play Ralph at first, and I didn't even agree with that. I was like, nah, that ain't right. Like at first, I was like, nah, I feel like I'm more Ronnie. Like,
Yeah, and you're the tallest. You'd have to be.
Yeah, it didn't make no
is.
sense.
Were you guys big fans of New Edition before you actually got casted in this movie?
Yeah, my dad actually toured playing guitar with Ralph, Johnny, and Bobby on Heads of State tour. So that's like the first time I heard of New Edition and really got caught into that world. So when I got the part, everything just came back like super full circle for me. So
Hold on, Keith. Tell them who you know your mom's favorite.
Yeah. So growing up, my mom had a crush on Ronnie, man. Ronnie, Ralph, Prince, and Michael Jackson was on their little clutch purse growing up. So like I knew.
Hey, Keith, I ain't gonna lie, you look like Ronnie a lot now.
Sounds like 84.
Well, can I get the any heartbreak? Hold on, can I get the any heartbreak check still?
Now, Michael, were you afraid that he was too high profile? Because everybody knows him as Hakeem. You think they'd be able to look past that to see Michael?
That's true. We was talking about that.
Nah, what it was, he came up to Boston, bro, and I took him through our projects, right, C-Mac? And our first conversation was in the pissy hallway. And I said, if I can't break him here, he's not going to make it. So when we talking in the hallways, he was just listening. He wasn't really doing no talking back, no empire, no fly shit. He was just listening. And he just said, man, I just want to do you right. I said, well, you got one more stop before I confirm. So I had my mom meet him at a restaurant, and I let them talk for 10 minutes. And when she walked out, she went like this. So I said from that point on, it don't matter if he was on TV, because to be in New Edition, he gonna have to bring it down anyways. And he was willing to get down. He said, yo, when they see me, I don't want them to think of Empire. I want to play the hell out of this role. And that's what he said.
You ain't never let me meet Mom, and I've been saying for 10 years I wanted to play you.
You can't sing and dance.
what's your favorite New Edition song? Huh? What's your favorite New Edition song?
Man.
All right, well, I have a few different ones.
many.
Of course, I really like Cool It Now because I used to love that video also. And then I like Can You Stand the Rain?
Of course.
I mean, it's so different, like with the New Edition upbeat dancing songs, and then you have the ballads. So you got to have like a favorite.
Mine is Mr. Telephone Man.
Each genre.
Mine is Mr. Telephone Man. That's mine.
Popcorn Love was my song too, though.
She got all this. She going back. Yeah, she going
But it was really nice, like when you guys first started off in here in Candy Girl, we were in my living room because I actually saw the screener for the first episode, and me and my girls were in there. We were all singing along, and I was like, damn, I really know all the words to all these New Edition songs. But I know like all individually too, like I know Ralph Tresvant and the remixes and everything. Like we were big fans.
He said, come on, man.
How long do you think it'll take y'all to detox from New Edition?
Never. I think Michael gonna stay with me, baby.
We just gained, something great, like we're brothers. Like in real life, these dudes, man, we since we started boot camp, there hasn't been a day we don't talk. You know what I mean? And from that we had to learn how to be brothers. You know what I'm saying? And from that we just haven't let that go, and I don't feel like we should. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I can always rely on these dudes.
It'll fade soon.
Y'all not really New Edition until y'all had a fist fight amongst each other.
Coming soon.
It might happen.
Did you know about the financial history of New Edition and being broke for so long and being in the projects? And
that's something that really shocked me. Like seeing having someone go on a tour that grosses $1 million easily, and then coming back home and only having $1 to split.
You'll be going through that soon after this movie.
Don't split that on my life. Nah. We know the rules.
No.
Now it airs January 24th, 25th, 26th on BET at 9. I'm halfway through the first episode.
Listen, I told y'all because I came in this morning because I stayed up last night. They sent me like the first 2 episodes to just kind of screen. And I was up all night like, I can't go to sleep. I need to see the third part. But I'm going to watch it again because I want to be on social media while everybody's talking. And I just one thing that was, is there a 4-ball? Somebody had on a 4-ball jacket, not an 8-ball jacket.
It was 8.
Did that exist?
You said it was 8-ball.
Oh, no, it was a number 4 on it, though.
You was high. You on that
I promise you, because we were all watching it. And I was
Shout out to the kids. Shout out to the youngers that killed it. Jaheim, Miles, Tyler,
Caleb.
Oh yeah, they did great. They were so
They killed it. They carried the whole first night. Like,
even like the clothes and everything were pretty much on point.
Makeup.
And we just want to say that this is an opportunity.
I thought it was great.
This is an opportunity to give them their flowers. While
Absolutely.
they're here.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
when we started this film, Luke and I were able to talk to Robbie Reed after rehearsal one day, and we were like, why aren't they legitimized and stamped as legends, the legends that they are?
They are.
The people that, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, young boy.
No. I'm saying New Edition. Listen,
what are you talking about?
New Edition is in our hearts. We're talking about the stamp.
Okay.
You know, the honor. You know, the Hall of Fames, all of that stuff. We started this movie, and God has blessed us with that. Like, they're getting their star on the Walk of Fame January 23rd.
Oh, wow.
And that's, you know what I'm saying, that's a big feat. That's what we're talking about.
Yo, but we movied out, but we just got to keep it funky, man. We've been busting our butt on something else, too, man.
What's that?
Tonight at 11 o'clock.
Oh, that 3.
Turn on Facebook Live with Biv DeVoe. We got a live concert from Boston.
Really?
And at midnight, bro, the Three Stripes album comes out. We want you to buy it, support it, play it like you play Poison,
it, all that.
So it don't end when the movie go off at 11, right, bro?
Absolutely.
Hell
listen,
nah.
Man, since the Poison album, like as far as our craft, we're a lot better. So song for song, besides Poison,
I agree.
Match this up with that album, we killing it on this album.
I agree.
That's my word.
Who's on the album?
We got
Dougie Fresh.
Dougie Fresh.
SWV,
We got SWV.
the collabo with a song called Finally. We had to revive the East Coast family. It's Boys to Men and BBD on this joint. Eric Sermon produced.
Battle Cat.
KG from Naughty by Nature produced.
Battle Cat.
No
Rico.
Curtis Blow on this joint. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Curtis
Eddie's
Blow
still
gave
on
us
the movie.
fire, though. right.
Y'all got a party in Boston, right?
We got a party
I see
tonight
G-Spin
at
DJing.
Bijou tonight. We're gonna watch the movie, right?
We're gonna
watch
last
the third night
movie,
tonight, and then we're gonna perform.
Y'all don't never invite us to this.
Never. You guys got an open invitation.
Come on, appreciate it.
Come on,
We did it.
I'm trying to jump on the next album. Let's go.
Tell BET to redirect those flights, man.
Yeah. Now, y'all really should appreciate this
some of y'all's
moment.
freaking
Quiet mouth.
You know what I'm saying?
You know
There's
what?
too many of y'all.
I want to thank these guys here because what they did for us is they're introducing us to a whole new generation.
Yeah.
That we didn't have to try to make a record to appeal to. I mean, the little guys, you know, and Brashear hit me to that yesterday, man. You know, he's like, yo, you guys are being introduced to the Snapchat era, you know, and so I want to thank y'all for that, man.
Yes.
These guys, we were really worried that they wouldn't bring the passion and the emotion, you know, to the movie like we wanted them to, but they did, man. They worked overtime. This guy right here was working on a twisted ankle, you know, for a couple of weeks, man, and we would have to, in between takes, we would go, now, come on, man, I need you to give me a little bit more. I wouldn't do it like that. And then after a while, we could actually just sit back and enjoy it and trust them and watch them do their work, man.
And Angie's right, man. 4:30 in the morning, what was I saying, see? What he wearing? What's his haircut look like?
Right.
We was on him, man, and I know sometimes Ron wasn't there. Yo, Miz, go holler at Keith for me real quick. It was like right, Keith? We was, even if it wasn't our character, bro, we was still talking to him. Absolutely. Even when Woody was doing every little step, I said, Willie, man, you gotta do this in the camera. He was like, okay, so it was not only your character, but you're protecting everyone because everyone wasn't there, man. But my sentiments exactly. I'm proud of them, and I think they should. I think people should, when they look at the movie, just accept it for what it is. They did the best damn job they could, and I hope they all move on to bigger and better jobs.
Oh, for sure.
Did Woody get to shadow Bobby at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We spent 4th of July together because I didn't get a chance to go home. So Bobby got his season and he said he's gonna cook. I was like, I don't know. But I got to though. Them ribs was on point though. So I mean, I got a chance to kick it with Bobby for a long time. But I just want to say personally, from all of us, thank you so much. We knew the music, but we didn't know you guys personally.
Right,
y'all didn't have social media for us to look up what y'all doing crazy online, you know what I mean?
Thank God,
we got that now.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if somebody do a biopic right now, it's like, I don't care. I see everything they do on Instagram. I don't care about that biopic.
Right.
But for y'all, I feel like this is really special, and I want to say thank y'all personally. This is my first gig. This is my first time working with all my brothers.
It's not your last, bro. It's not your last.
BET 9 p.m. It's the Breakfast Club. It's the cast of New Edition and BBD.
Yes.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in.